Welcome, everybody. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show. It is the 24th of June, 2021. Coming out of Studio 44. The long working man, producer James, is in the building. How you feeling? Looking fresh. Got the fresh cut. How you feeling, man?
Feeling good.
Yeah?
I'm a little tired, but nonetheless, we are here.
Dude, you had put a little shrimp bowl together the other day for me, man. It was very tasty.
Thank you.
You did a good job on that. Those potatoes, man, they kind of set it off right. I was like, man, the corn, I was like, okay, the corn's not bad. With the potatoes, they really hit. I had to go put a little extra seasoning on the corn. I think just because, a little watery, but no problem. Kept everything else juicy, though. That's what I liked.
Yes, sir.
Lots going on. Tom Brady, of course, trolling everybody. He was on. He had a little spot on the shop, which will be preparing tomorrow, and I think he let a little bit of himself come through on that show, mainly just because it's, it's not TV PG or TVG. And then we're going to talk a little bit about a question proposed by the NFL on Twitter. Who's the best running back duo in the NFL? 4 teams were named. A couple of people in the comments were not too happy that their team was left out. We'll go ahead and talk about that as well. And I continued my Khabib Nurmagomedov rabbit hole. I started finding a couple of new YouTube pages where this person Will Harris, literally got to film Khabib in Dagestan and also in the fight leading up to Conor at 229. So he was actually a personal vlogger or videographer for Khabib and taking him all across, Dagestan and pretty much that country. They got to live with him. So we'll get a little bit into that. I found him through, Rogan's podcast and the little clips on YouTube. So got to see that, got to see how that dude lived. And it's just a fun time. It's a little dry right now. We know the sports world is a little dry just because it's the dog days of summer. We knew this was coming. This is something I talked to you about, how there's going to be a time, especially late June, early July, especially around July 4th. It's going to get pretty quiet. I mean, when the baseball playoffs, the college baseball playoffs are going on, there's no news coming out. And I think today no, that's not true. I kind of keep a pulse on what's going on in the sports world, and not too many people are talking about Aaron anymore. And so that lets me know that story is slowly calming down, and more people are starting to talk about the other quarterbacks, Cam Newton, Tom Brady. Of course, Tom Brady had he did a little show, not only with The Shop on HBO, but he did James Gordon late show yesterday. I thought it was kind of corny, but I do like James Gordon with his car karaoke. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
So I've seen a couple of his Bruno Mars one. Oh man, that set it off. I like Bruno Mars. I'm a fan. It's a fun thing to watch, especially late night. You're hanging out.
Is it true that they're he's not really driving? They're getting towed behind.
They're on a. I think they're on a. I think they're on a flat, not a flatbed, but they're on an 18-wheeler. But there's 18-wheelers where you're on ground level, but there's a real thin space in between the ground and the wheels, and so it looks like. But they could be driving, because they do pull clips where they're like, oh, there's a vehicle behind them, and there's some instances where I've seen an extra camera crew van behind them in the rear, or as you look through the vehicle. So maybe either they are driving or they're not. But
I seen that one with Migos.
I doubt it. Yeah, the Migos. Yeah. Especially the one. I like the one with the Migos where they take them shopping, and I was just like, maybe, I don't know. But Tom Brady on Gordon. This time they were in a golf cart on a golf course.
Oh, okay.
So it was different, not in the car. And they do a little singing, and Tom does a little side here and there. But we'll get into Tom in a little bit. I didn't really mean to go that far into him that quickly. But what I wanted to get into was this question pros that I found on Twitter, on NFL's Twitter page. And they said, who's the best running back duo in the NFL today? Probably means 2021. And the guys that they listed were Cleveland Browns, Kareem Hunt, and Nick Chubb, which is a very great duo for running, especially because they have an awesome line. The Saints, Alvin Kamara and Murray, and then they also had the Buccaneers running backs, Leonard Fournette and Jones. And then, of course, ending, got to have the Cowboys in there with Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard. Now, we know what Pollard can do, especially for the Dallas Cowboy fans, seeing what he can do whenever he spells Ezekiel Elliott, especially with Zeke's numbers being down probably 3 of the last 4 years. And we see what Cleveland does, maybe not as much because they're not they're not a close market. But if you're watching DirecTV or if you're watching, if you play fantasy football, you definitely know how these guys produce. And that's kind of the lens I'm going to be looking through. But I did want to mention, just to kind of get you in the conversation, Producer James, the first comment underneath that post was, I'm not going to name the individual. I don't want to call him out. I don't want people to go bomb his Twitter page. But one gentleman said, you put the Bucs in this, but not the Packers, Aaron Jones, or A.J. Dillon. And I had to pause for a second. A.J. Dillon didn't really play that much last year. And Aaron Jones, in my opinion, besides the defense for the Packers, lost them that game in the NFC Championship due to his fumbles.
Yeah, correct.
So I'll let you have your time to defend those two Packers running backs, but I want to focus on the two teams who I think have the best offensive line out of the 4 teams that were named by, the NFL's Twitter page. And I think that's really Alvin Kamara and I think Murray are a great 1-2 punch, but Kamara is a lightning rod. He can literally take over game, and he's like one of the best options at running back for fantasy football as a top pick. So they kind of get ruled out due to the fact that the number 2 is a lower quality than the number 1. Getting back to the Buccaneers with Jones and Leonard Fournette, to me, those are like 1A and 1B due to the fact that they're pretty much the same running back. Maybe Jones has a little bit better hands catching out of the backfield, but when Jones gets hurt, Leonard Fournette comes in and vice versa. So it's one of those things where you have pretty much the same body type running back, 6 foot, probably 220, hammer the ball, all-purpose backs, but they don't pop when it comes pretty much to fantasy football. They're not a guy who's comparable to Alvin Kamara. And then I'm getting into my ranks. It's kind of like 4, 3, and now we're at 2. And for me, number 2 really has to land due to the fact that the offensive line last year was so porous and injury prone, and that's the Dallas Cowboys with Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard. Now, last year, if I had to rank between Zeke and Pollard, I may give the edge to Pollard a little bit just because he was much more hungry. Ezekiel Elliott's been paid. He has his millions of dollars. And Pollard, I think, is fighting for, number 1, a contract, a big contract, for probably next year. But that offensive line is what inhibited them, in my opinion, the most. And if we're going to judge them off of last year's production or going into this year's production, I think Dallas is going to play second fiddle to just how well the Cleveland Browns produce. Now, the Cleveland Browns offensive line is what makes those 2 running backs go. But you have a home run hitter with both of those running backs. They can literally, it's almost where they're both Alvin Kamara, but they have to be healthy. Like Kamara can play injured. We've seen him play injured. But if Kareem Hunt gets hurt, he's out. He's not going to play. He's not going to contribute. And same thing with Nick Chubb. It's kind of like one of those where they have 2 alpha running backs. But the reason they have 2 alpha running backs is because both of them are injury prone. And it makes sense the way they run the ball. Yeah. It kind of makes a whole lot of sense. Now, does Kareem Hunt probably catch better out of the backfield? Hell yeah. He's probably a better catch out of the backfield than Nick Chubb. But in my opinion, Nick Chubb is one of the best, I think, zone reading running backs that they have in the NFL, just like Zeke is. I think Zeke and Chubb are pretty comparable. But I think the offensive line is the biggest difference between all of those 4 teams, even including the Green Bay Packers. But we have to take this, I think, with a grain of salt and say, does the offensive line make the running backs, or does the offensive line complement the running backs? And I think that's what we really need to put more into consideration. Because when you have elite offensive lines who are healthy, Cleveland Browns, Dallas Cowboys, Saints, Buccaneers, Green Bay Packers, when your offensive line is healthy and at full strength, yeah, you're gonna ball. Like, you're gonna have such a good time doing that. But now we have to start looking at the running backs who can offset the injury proneness or the injuries at the offensive line. To me, the best running back who could do that was Pollard, who showed last year, because the offensive line for Cleveland, we didn't see that. A lot of those guys stayed healthy, no big problems. But in Dallas, the offensive line was like horrible. Everybody was hurt. And Pollard still had more, in my opinion, he had better runs due to the eye test than Ezekiel Elliott. And Ezekiel Elliott last year really had a big time fumbling problem, where Pollard you didn't really see that out of him. Could that have been due to the fact that Pollard played less damage, less wear and tear? Sure. But to the eye test, if you're dealing with a poor offensive line, Tony Pollard played the best out of all those running backs. So you kind of have to just kind of weigh that, and that's why I kind of listed it as 1 for Cleveland, 2 for Dallas, and then so on and so forth. But I want to turn it over to you, and I want to give you your time to defend the Green Bay Packers. Now, they did excellent. I mean, they went all the way to the NFC Championship to take on the Buccaneers. And I think Jones had a really big game in that NFC Championship game against the Packers. But in that game, probably the best left tackle in the game was out due to injury with David Bakhtiari. Now, I'm going to turn the floor over to you. How do you believe that those two running backs, Dillon and Jones, or Jones and Dillon, to be respectful to Jones because he's been there longer, do you believe those two belong in that conversation due to their production or due to the fact that they played in the NFC Championship game?
That's a good question. So we're talking top 5? Is that what we're talking about?
No, we're talking do they belong in the conversation of the best running back duo in the NFL? Not the top 5. Do they belong in that conversation? And you got to remember, I know what they did, so I'm gonna be like, okay, we'll remember what they did. I laid out my critique for those other 4 teams.
Yeah.
And I want to see what you have to say about your Packers.
So we have.
Oh, look at this! Look at you! You cheating,
bro.
You went straight up to the analytics, pulled up data.
I'm doing my job, man.
Man, I did mine off the dome. I respect that.
That's why this is your show.
I respect that you pulled up the stats. I like that. And you're starting with Dillon too.
Yeah.
You're gonna work from lowest to highest.
So he had 46, carries, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaged 5.3. Nothing that really jumps out.
He didn't play much.
Yeah, nothing. Aaron Jones, on the other hand, had 201 carries, which is 10th in the NFL in the 2020 season. 1,104 yards, which is 4th. Tied for 11th with 9 touchdowns and average 5.5 yards per carry.
Now I want to give you a little bit more credit. I think there's one thing you're overlooking with that. And what were his total touchdowns? What were his running and his receiving?
Oh yeah, true.
That's something. Let's give you all the credit you can.
Okay.
Because Aaron Jones does do a very good job catching out of the backfield.
Okay, here we go. So receiving. Oh, that would be right here. I mean, I think they deserve to be in the conversation. If that's what you're asking. They deserve to be talked about, not necessarily like.
Okay, so that was my last question. Let's go ahead and get you all of your stats to defend the next question that I proposed. So his receiving yards and catches from last year were
his team. Yeah, it's showing team. Hang on.
No, you shouldn't have to go. You shouldn't have to go away from that page.
I mean. Oh, okay. It's saying the team. So 2022.
Okay, so
he had receiving touchdowns.
So he had 11 total receiving touchdowns.
Longest was 30. Yeah.
Okay. Does it say how many receiving yards he had?
355.
And he had 355 receiving. And how many rushes? Over 1,100.
Oh yeah, 1,000. Yeah.
Okay, so he has 1,500 all-purpose yards. And how many receptions did he have?
He had 47 for 2020.
He had 47
47
receptions.
receptions. Correct.
Are you sure that's his or that's the whole team?
I think that's his. Yeah. Yeah, because he had that's him. 47 receptions. It said he was targeted 63 times.
Yeah, Aaron Jones had 47 receptions. That's down from the previous year, 49.
49, correct.
Okay, so
he averaged 7.6.
Okay, and that's big. The reason that's big is because that's fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
So he has 1,500 all-purpose yards. 47 receptions is huge in the PPR league. 11 total touchdowns, and we won't hold the turnovers against him until we talk about this football game at the NFC Championship game, because that was pivotal to them losing opportunities to keep up pace with Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so now you have your stats to back up the question. Do the Green Bay Packers running back duo deserve to be in the conversation with the 4 teams we named because they're that skilled, or because they were able to reach the NFC Championship game and get beat by Tampa Bay?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think that, Aaron Rodgers had a big part in getting them to that NFC Championship game. Like, they didn't rely heavily on the run, but I feel like whenever they needed the run, Aaron Jones was there, and I think he did his job. So, I mean, to answer your question,
remember, this is a duo. This isn't Aaron Jones by himself.
Well, I mean, the other guy, AJ he really didn't do shit. So,
the reason why is because Williams, because remember, Dillon is third string at this time, and Williams isn't there anymore. So, getting back to the question is, do the Green Bay Packers does the running back duo of Dillon and Jones, or Jones and Dillon, deserve to be in that conversation? Does Jones belong?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. If we're talking about a duo based on last year, I would have to say no.
Right, but now let's
final answer.
But let's entertain this.
All right.
Do you think that their projection allows them to be in that conversation?
I think that I definitely think AJ Dillon's gonna have obviously a better season.
I think he's gonna be a great third down back. I think he's gonna be a great goal line back, and he may have his touchdowns may go up to maybe like 5 or 6. But Aaron Jones is the guy who catches the ball out of the backfield. And I think that gives him the biggest advantage over Dillon. And you say, yes, they belong in the conversation. And I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, even though you're a homer. But I'm going to say, no, they don't. And the reason they don't is because of the bad man, AR-12, who slings the ball all around the lot. And as the game does not go... The game for the Green Bay Packers, the team does not win off of the backs of AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones. They win off the back of AR-12.
That's true.
For the Dallas Cowboys, they win off the back of their offensive line and the running backs. Same thing with Cleveland. Same thing with the people can argue with Green Bay or with the Buccaneers. That's fine, but the quarterback's going to be 44 years old when they start the season. And then the Saints too. They're figuring it out. So if I have to really have this conversation, there's only 2 teams who really belong in that conversation, and that's the Buccaneers. I'm sorry, that's the Cleveland Browns and the Dallas Cowboys, because they have quarterbacks who are good enough to not lose the game. They don't have quarterbacks that go win the game. Tom Brady goes to win the game. When Drew Brees was there last year, they go win the game. Now you can say, okay, well, Jameis Winston's probably going to be the quarterback 1 for the Saints, and he's not going to be the guy who's going to go win them the game. Well, he did throw 30 touchdowns when he was in Tampa. Again, he did throw 30 interceptions as well. So he may be a guy to go get them W's more likely than if it were to be Kamara or Murray.
I agree.
That's just kind of where I'm seeing.
Yeah, I agree with you. Something notable pointing out, just a little stinger in me.
Stinger?
Like something that stings.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like a nerve pinch nerve or something.
So in 2020, the 2020 season, Aaron Jones, he had 1 fumble, 1 rushing fumble, and he had 1 receiving fumble. Okay, he had 2 in the postseason.
In the postseason?
In the postseason, receiving.
What games were those?
I think that was the obviously the Bucks.
The NFC Championship game. Yeah.
And that's just like, it's like, dude, like you did great. he did great this year. But I mean, when it matters most, man, when it matters most.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, something worth noting. Pointing out, I guess.
At least you're being honest with your team.
I try to be. I really try to be. I don't want to be like Aaron Rodgers.
Well, you may want to be like that because it may be a lot worse than you think if he's not there. I'm just putting it out there like that.
All right.
He'll be there week 1.
Hope you're right.
No. That's what I'm saying. He'll be there week 1.
Okay.
He will wear what are the else colors? Is it it's the gold and green or
green and gold?
Okay, yeah, whatever that. He'll be in Titletown week 1. Mark my words. All right, folks, let's get into a break real quick. I think it's 36 minutes after the hour. Started a little late. We're putting some things together for y'all. When we come back, we're getting to Tom Brady and his escapades as he's making he's doing a little bit more of being himself. We'll be back. Welcome back, everybody. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show coming out of Studio 44. I was scrolling through Twitter like I usually do, and I think I'm not as active on Twitter, a lot more active on Instagram, but on Twitter, I'm finding more of like content. I'm like, hey, we can really talk about this. Well, at the beginning of the season, I think the NFL tight ends kind of got together and are led by Greg Olsen, who is, he's the OG. He's my age, and so he put together a tight end university. So this is a clip of tight end university where your boy Travis Kelce is the ultimate hype man. So this is going to be, this is a PG video. It's not X-rated or anything. So if you hear stuff bleeped out, it was Bleacher Report. It wasn't us. Let's look at that video.
First off, thank you guys all so much for coming to this.
We have 49 tight ends in attendance, which I think is a pretty incredible.
Yeah! Thank you for willing to be a part of this. First off, thank you
Travis
guys all so much
Kelce is
for coming
a
to this.
wild man. He's so nuts. Patrick Mahomes had to like comment on that, and he's like, I'm there next year if I get invited, because this is supposed to be like tight ends only. And of course, that's Greg Olsen trying to thank everybody for coming out, trying to be a leader, and trying to be a host. He's trying to just keep things moving. Travis Kelce's in the background, just be like, let's go, just like Travis. Everybody's looking back at him like, what the hell are you doing, bro? It's like, this isn't training camp. Party, bro. What are you doing? Like, what did you drink? Because that's not what you're drinking next year. But dude, that's Travis Kelce. It's probably the best in the game right now. Arguably the best in the game. Him and Kittle, Warren too, or is it Warren? Darren Warren? Yeah, at the Raiders.
Pops and shots. Gabriel actually took Travis Kelce number one overall. Not number one overall. Number one for his. I forgot what pick he was. I think he was one of the later picks, like 8, 9, or something like that. But they were giving him shit all year for taking a tight end number one.
What kind of league was this?
You seen what kind of league they run?
Well, I mean, if it's a dynasty league, it makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
If it's a PPR league, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I guess it's a league that doesn't exist anymore, according to them.
That's true.
But yeah, man, he's a scoring machine, and it seems like there's like maybe like 3 or 4 tight ends that are like good for like weekly scoring.
Yeah, Travis Kelce, George Kittle when he's healthy, and then Warren out of Vegas, out of the Raiders. And then, of course, Kyle Pitts coming out. People think he's going to do the same kind of thing. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what Kyle Pitts does with Atlanta. But as far as the team that makes things, or the tight end that makes things go is George Kittle, for sure. And it does, I mean, it's easy to do that when your quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. Of course, that's why Patrick's over there, like, trying to back him up, like, I'm there next year, bro. Just need the invite. Just let me know I'm there, bro. I'm just like,
tight ends only, homie.
T University, bro. It's like you and your little QB pals. Why don't y'all go over there and hang out with Tom Brady or something? Speaking of Tom Brady, let's pivot on over. Tom Brady, basically, there was a few teams involved with him last year. I think it was the Raiders, the Chargers, the Titans, and I want to say San Francisco. Those were the 4 teams that have pretty much been rumored that were highly interested in him. And Tom Brady on The Shop on HBO, which I think that's LeBron James's podcast, but of course it got picked up by HBO. So it's in a barbershop setting. Have you seen it or seen about it?
No, I'm totally unaware of it.
So LeBron isn't on the episode, but Tom is in there with Draymond and a couple other NBA guys. And Tom Brady is basically saying, like, yeah, it came down to, it was coming down to the final score or the final teams. And, I was talking to this one team and they're like, you're going to go with him? It's like, you're going to go with that motherfucker? People want to see Tom Brady like, yeah, let's go TB12. And they think that is Tom Brady. No. The guy, Tom Brady, who said, y'all are going with that motherfucker? Like, that's Tom Brady. The cold-hearted killer. That's Tom Brady. If you don't believe me, look at what he did when him and Tyrann Mathieu got into it at the Super Bowl. You're telling me that's the chipper G golly old buddy pal? You think that's Tom Brady? No. Tom Brady is a cold hustler killer.
Remind us what he did again.
What?
Tom Brady. Didn't he make his way back all the way over there?
No. So what happened was Brady was chirping at Tyron after Tom Brady threw a touchdown to Antonio Brown. And Tom Brady was letting Tyron hear it. Well, Tyron went back and started jawing back to him while Tom is running off. So Tom initiated it. Tyron responded. And Tom is literally on the other hash away from the Kansas City bench. Tom then doubles back, comes all the way back across the field and gets in Tyrann Mathieu's face. And they're just like heads bobbing, jawing back and forth. And I'm sure there's some MFers in that bad boy too. But let me just say this. Don't talk no shit, won't be no shit.
Where'd the flag go to?
Where did what flag?
Threw a flag for
They
Tyrann
threw a flag
Mathieu.
against Tyrann Mathieu. But hey man, when you're the GOAT, things just go your way.
You gotta love it, dude. I love it.
That's just how it goes.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, it's a part, and they should have thrown double flags.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't know if you saw this or not. This is just a quick little side, just to compare goats to goats. So when Michael Jordan was playing for, was it the Wizards? I don't know. I don't know if it's the Wizards or if it was Charlotte. I can't remember. Anyways, he's not playing for the Bulls, and he's talking to the ref, and the ref is literally like in his hip pocket, and we hear the audio. And Michael's like, yeah, he had two hands on me. And the referee's like, Mike, I didn't see it that way. I'm seeing it. He goes, are you sure, Michael? He goes, are you sure that's what you saw? And he goes, yeah, that's what he goes. All right, Michael, I trust you. Foul, 2 shots to come. And he called the penalty on the other guy who Michael said he got fouled. Michael's like, he fouled me. And the referee was like, I believe you, Michael. He came back and got back and she was like, Michael, you know I didn't see it, but I believe you. That's how GOAT status works. That's how it works. Just like Tom gets the calls, Michael gets the calls.
He's literally high-fiving referees.
Dude, and they high-five him back. Not all the time. Not all the time. But sometimes.
He plays on it now, right? Like that he knows that everyone's like,
dude,
what the fuck?
Tom is the ultimate troll. If you don't believe me, look at his look at the IG story after they won the Super Bowl. And of course it's him and Gronk, and it's Tom with the camera, and he's there, and it's there's a song, and they just
bum 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 bum
then
bum 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 bum.
You know? And he'll kind of do one of those things, and it's like, you condescending prick. But if you're a Buccaneers fan, you're like, yeah, that's right. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Tom Brady. I do.
Is it because he's a winner?
It must be.
It must be.
Yeah, it must be.
Hey, winning cures all. There could be the biggest scandal in the world. It could be the most horrible things going on outside of, children. It could be the most horrible thing in the world. Did they win? Yeah, they won.
Yeah.
Then all is forgiven.
Real quick, man, man, I really feel honored, being able to, I mean, the kiddos too, they don't,
what do you mean?
They know who Tom Brady is, but I feel honored, but I'm going to be like, yeah, I grew up watching Tom Brady play football.
No, don't feel like that.
Oh, damn.
Not honored. Privileged is different.
Okay.
I think that's what you mean. Because honored means you're giving of yourself to Tom.
Oh, okay.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
You feel privileged that you were able to see Tom play.
Yeah. Also Peyton Manning as well.
Yeah, I guess so. But Peyton is more of the silent killer. He's like, I'm gonna go kick your ass, and I'm gonna let you know I kicked your ass, but I'm not gonna chase you down the field to yell at you.
Yeah.
He'll yell at his own players. Well, so will Tom.
All right. Now, also, I feel honored to have watched Aaron Rodgers play as the Green Bay Packers quarterback.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
What was that?
Fair enough. Hey, man, I can't. I think because I'm so close to their age, I don't feel that way. I'm like, see, the way I see the game of football at the NFL level is that's your job. Your job is to be elite. This is the men's league. This ain't the spring league. This isn't XFL. This isn't the AAF. This isn't arena football. Bro, this is the NFL. This is where grown men come to perform at the highest level. Yeah. Now, I understand there's only 4 or 5 human beings on the planet who can play that position at the elite level at any one time of an era. I understand that. Because at this time, there's only 4. It's probably Tom, which Tom is going into a new era. He's close to playing in 3, to be honest with you. But it's Tom, it's Patrick, it's Deshaun, or it's not Deshaun yet, but maybe after all this bullshit clears. But Russell Wilson, and maybe we include Ben. Maybe. Ben? Yeah, maybe.
Caught me off guard.
Maybe. But last year it was Drew. It was Drew Brees last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's why I said, like, there's 3 or 4. It's probably more 3 than anything.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is.
So I got a scenario for you.
Okay.
Down by 6. Mm-hmm. Let's say.
Oh, I'm going to have more questions, so you better be ready to answer them.
Down by 6,
okay.
minute 30 to go.
Okay.
You getting the ball. Your team's getting the ball.
Okay. We're receiving the ball, or we already have the ball?
You're receiving the ball.
So we're going to get a kick. We're going to get to return
the other team just scored. You're receiving the ball. You're down by 6. You need a touchdown.
Okay.
Who are you going with? Quarterback.
How many timeouts do I have?
None.
Where's the ball? Where am I? Where is
20-yard line?
Where's the game being played?
20-yard line.
Where's the game being played?
God damn.
I got more. I'm telling you, there's
your home team.
Okay, which team am I?
That's up to you. I'm asking what quarterback would you rather have?
So I'm gonna get to pick the location.
Yeah. It's
not like a neutral site.
No.
Okay.
It's not Super Bowl. No.
Okay. And what's the weather like?
What if the person you pick is playing in a dome?
It could be, but I need to know those things.
It's a clear Sunday evening.
Who's my opponent? That's important because of where they play, where their geography of where they play.
Your opponent is the number 10 defense in the league.
That does not answer my question.
Well, I mean, I'm waiting. Like, okay, that should give you some kind of context as to how good the defense is, right?
Fine. Okay, fine.
Who was the number 10 defense in the league last year?
If I had to guess, maybe the Vikings. I don't know, to be honest with you. The other half of the question is, what week is this? Is this a playoff game? Is this before the bye, after the bye?
This is
Is this a divisional opponent?
This is a divisional opponent. Your playoffs are in limbo.
So I'm playing for my playoff life.
Week 15.
This is week 15. Okay, it's week 15. Okay, fine.
Pittsburgh Steelers. What is this?
I don't know, but I'm trying to get that
published December. So they have the number 10 defense as the New York Giants.
Okay, the New York. Oh, that's really? So I have the New York Giants as my defense, and I have a minute 30 to go, 80 yards, and I'm getting the ball with no timeouts left, and I have to go 80 yards.
It's a clear Sunday evening.
And
you're fighting for your playoff berth.
And my team is the New York Giants. Okay, they play out in the cold, so it doesn't really matter. They play outside. And I'm home. I'm the home team.
Yeah.
I'm the home team. Okay. And all my people are healthy.
God damn, dude.
No, it's important.
Yes,
all my people are healthy.
Your people are healthy.
All of them. Okay. I'm going with Tom Brady. I'm at home. I'm in a tropical climate.
God damn,
it's a minute 30. I have probably the best trio of receivers. Not to mention,
what if you weren't at home?
Where am I?
God damn.
Am I at the Giants?
You're like my kids. You answer my question with another question.
Because it's going to change my team.
Okay,
am I at the Giants?
I guess.
Okay, I'm at the if I'm at the Giants, then I'm taking Aaron Rodgers because I have a cold weather team who plays outside in the elements, and Aaron has the ability to get the ball down the field, throwing out the backfield, or throwing to Devontae Adams or anybody down the field. Plus, I know the secondary for the Giants is shit. So I'll be able to have play action all the fucking day.
Okay.
Now, if I'm playing a dome team, like if I were to play Indianapolis, I'm taking Indianapolis back to Tampa Bay. I'm not doing that. Now, if I have to go play at Indy, I'll take Aaron Rodgers. It's kind of like, what road team, where are we playing at? I need to know those conditions. I just do. They're important. Game management. It's just like, you know.
Could you give like just without all those details?
No.
Okay.
If you want to lose, do you want to? I want to win.
Okay, but what if let's just say all those details were question marks, and they're like, we'll fill those out later. What quarterback do you want to go with? And like say you're loading up like a Madden scenario, right?
Oh,
and it's like all random. What quarterback, regardless of all of those situations that you listed, what quarterback would you rather go with?
Okay, now does the quarterback bring the receiving core?
The quarterback comes with the team, yeah.
Because it's different. If you're just telling me the quarterback.
You got to have your team out there. Come on, you're fucking with me.
No, I'm being serious. because it just depends. It really depends. And I don't know the opponent.
No.
I think of Tom Brady.
All right. Okay.
I don't like that pick, but you said I was home. I'm the home team.
Yeah.
Okay. I want the teams when it's the coldest time of the year. I want all those teams to come play in a tropical environment. That gives me the advantage. Although all that other bullshit is unknown.
You're a difficult man, Paul.
No, I am a complicated human, but those are details. That's why there's only 6 teams, 6 to 8, depending on what goes on. That's the only reason why there's only 6 to 8 teams who are always competing in the playoffs. Because those other teams, those other GMs, they don't think about the details.
You telling me you could be an NFL GM?
No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that I'm going to take more into consideration than I believe most GMs are taking it into consideration. But it's not only the GM, but it's the head coach as well. Because you have coaches, and I'm not this smart. I listen to people who are smart, who have been in the business, who are still in the business, and have family members in the business. They're coaches who are head coaches who are really just coordinators. They don't know how to think about situational football. They're not taking into consider the details. They're not taking into consideration the weather. They're not taking into consideration, are we on natural turf? Are we on artificial turf? Do we have all our timeouts? What hash are we on in the football game? How many minutes do we have before the game is over? What is the situation like for our playoff berth? Those things are important.
For sure.
So that you can be successful and win. I mean, like they said, you play to win the game.
Yeah, like people want to do, right? That's why you're there on Sunday, right?
I mean, why do you go? Why would the other person go?
Why do I watch? To see the Green Bay Packers win. Dude, there's nothing that kills me more.
It's tough for you.
There's nothing that kills me more than watching a team mismanage the clock and their timeouts. It's like, and then you have like I've seen.
Is that why that fourth and goal bothered you so much, that last series?
Nah, I mean, I saw. You remember Brett Hundley? I think was his name.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. Dude, just mismanaged. Like they just ran out of time. I think I forgot what game it was, but I'm just like, dude.
But don't you understand now? After seeing that, don't you understand when I say there's only 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the world who can play that position at an elite level?
Yeah, for sure.
That's because those quarterbacks, they're thinking about everything else except what's important at the time.
But that's what I was thinking whenever you were like, that's your job. But I'm like, yeah, that's their job when they get signed to do. But how many of them are actually going to reach an elite level to like almost carry a franchise to, to turn it around?
1%.
Kind of like how, do you agree kind of how Baker is doing over there in Cleveland? Like
Baker's success is a byproduct of the offensive line. Don't give me that bullshit about, Baker Mayfield is playing outside of his mind. You have elite receivers with Landry and OBJ. You have Austin Hooper, who they got from the Atlanta Falcons, who was a Pro Bowler. You have arguably the best running back duo in the NFL. And Baker Mayfield's job is to not lose the game. The wins are a byproduct of the offensive line, in my opinion only. Because if we look at what happened to what he was doing last year, he was put in the position to go win games, and he couldn't do it. Now it's like, hey, Baker, just chill out. We're going to run the ball, and then we'll do play action. We'll let you throw it deep to OBJ and Landry. Oh, Landry's hurt? I'm sorry, OBJ's hurt? Now you don't have that extra pressure to throw to two receivers, and now you can just focus on one and then distribute the ball everywhere else. Oh, look how well you play now when OBJ's hurt and you don't have that hovering over your head.
I got to get the ball to OBJ. He's in fucking double coverage.
I think it's a bad move for OBJ to be in Cleveland. For Baker's mental well-being. He played phenomenally when OBJ was hurt. Watch what happens in the first 8 games this season. If they shit the bed, I think my prognostication about OBJ is a bad mental play for Baker.
You think he's in the locker room like, hey, homie, give me the ball. Give me the ball more.
No, I bet he's walking by and be like, hey, yo, Bake, I'm open. He's like, hey, give me the ball. Give me the rock.
Yeah, I totally see what you're saying. That makes sense.
Landry, I don't think does that as much. But OBJ's got to sell. I mean, he's a business.
He's the Madden dude.
I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man.
It's crazy how that catch elevated his.
You hating on the Cowboys right now? You talking about that catch? Y'all hear that, Cowboy Nation?
I'm talking about that catch.
He made that catch in college.
And that was a flag, right?
He made that catch.
That was a flag.
They threw the flag, yeah. He was making those catches at LSU. He ain't balling. He is that guy.
Yeah.
Don't make him to be spectacular.
I'm just saying.
That's crazy his job is to be spectacular.
Yeah.
It is what is expected.
I'm just saying it's crazy how that catch just elevated him.
Look, if Alan Lazard is catching balls like that, I'm going to be like, yes, that is spectacular. OBJ, bro, that's what you're supposed to do. That's your job. That's why you get the that's why you get the sponsorships, you get the ads, you get all the extra shit. You on boats in some body of water before a playoff game. Yeah, you stunting on everybody. Yeah, I get it. That is your job, to be spectacular. Don't. Who am I? Who the fuck am I? I'm just saying. Who the fuck am I?
Who am I?
Let's go to break before I have the whole NFL. I have the whole.
Cool the fuck off, bro.
I have the entire Cleveland football team in my email. Who the fuck is this dude? The fat ass on the internet. Don't know what you're talking about. Kiss my ass. We're back. back, everybody. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show. Let's get into a little bit of the UFC. Saving that for last, just in case, you may not like it. But continuing my dive down the rabbit hole, I was watching YouTube, and Joe Rogan had on this guy by the name of Will Harris, and he used to be he was a basketball player. He's a big dude, and he was basically trying to figure out what he wanted to do with his life, and he found a camera and turned his passion into how he makes money now. So Will Harris was available and had the opportunity to basically follow Khabib Nurmagomedov around during the lead up to UFC 229. And he has a YouTube channel called Anatomy of a Fighter. And on the Anatomy of a Fighter, he basically just chronicles the lead up, and he got to film Khabib whenever he was in Dagestan, and basically got to see how people live there. And there was a time where he was telling Joe, Will was telling Joe, like, Khabib gave me like this key to this room, and he said, don't go out at night. And of course, Will Harris is a big black dude, and he was like, I'm going out. Of course, like in Dagestan, like people fight in the streets. People fight for no reason. Very rough. If you just think about the fighters who come out of that country, you can just see how rough and tumble these human beings are, running up mountains. That's like Khabib said in the interview, was, I'm from mountain, you are American, you can't fight in America. You can't fight in the streets, which is true, not legally. I mean, if you want to, people do fight, but I just thought it was interesting to see how there was an inside view of how Will was able to kind of capture, I think, the human part of Khabib, going through this training, going through, how devout of a religious person he is, and his camp, and, what he does to train, and how he gets through, security, and how he's treated when he's traveled around. And because I didn't understand Khabib, I think that's why I wanted to kind of continue down this rabbit hole, is because I understand what it is for him to have his strong beliefs in his religion. I understand what it's like for him to train. And for this very disciplined human in Khabib, what threw me off was when he jumped over the cage and created this melee. Yeah. The two just didn't jive together. So I was like, I need more. There's something there. I need to figure out why. Why did you go jump over the cage? What made you go do it? Was it your complete animosity to Conor and his camp? Was it because he disrespected your religion? Was it that he disrespected your family? Was it everything, culminating together? Or maybe you just snapped?
Maybe
it was like, first I kill you, and then I go kill everybody in your camp. Not literally kill, but in this fighting sense.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing your conclusion. But I feel like it was just, shaking the soda bottle up, and it just... That's what I felt.
Dropped too many Mentos in the Diet Coke, huh?
Maybe. That's what I felt like initially. But I mean, have you seen enough, or are you still like,
there's not any more content, I think, for me to consume. And so I believe maybe I need to give my conclusion, and my conclusion, because we got to see Khabib through Will Harris's lens. After the melee, like, we got to see him going to the locker room. Like, he was escorted by, Las Vegas deputies and the commission into his locker room. And then his camp, like, surrounded him because he had boys in the locker room who were watching the fight. And so you have all this, chaos, this anarchy coming to the locker room, and his team basically shields him from law enforcement and from the commission. And Khabib you could see the embarrassment in his face after he got there. Like, after the red was gone, the adrenaline was gone, the dopamine was completely used up. You could see that he's standing there drinking a bottle of water, and you're like, you look at his face, you look at a man, and it's like, when you fucked up.
Yeah.
And in the press conference afterwards, at the end, we get to see more through Anatomy of a Fighter, through Will Harris's lens, and he stands up and he apologizes. He goes, I apologize to the UFC. I apologize to you. I apologize. And when he apologized to his father And I think it's because he has like that kind of I got that kind of relationship too, so I'm kind of getting a little foggy over here. But when he apologized, I think because I know that feeling. Yeah. When he apologizes, it's like fuck. It's like he embarrassed the family, right? And so because he embarrassed the family on national global TV,
pay-per-view,
global TV here, he knew that, you know, he was able to he was in the wrong, and of course, you know, he apologized to Dana and all that, and you know, the UFC and the owners at that time, but also for him to be as mentally strong as he was able to compartmentalize, I think, that incident, and he knew the responsibilities of a champion that were held to him is that whenever they're leaving the event, whenever they're leaving the venue, somebody pulled up Dana White's like a Maserati or two-door Mercedes, you know, like a $300,000 vehicle. And that's where Khabib takes that infamous picture, but famous, no disrespect to Conor, that famous picture with his hat on the car and he's holding the belt, like smiling. He's like, yeah, Dana White, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a respect, like, this is your car. I'm still good. I'm sorry for what I did. This is the champion.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the champ. And then they kind of go off. You know, they kind of just like ride off into the darkness in Vegas. And so my conclusion is that Khabib had, I think he just had enough of Conor's bullshit, and he snapped. He lost control, and when he apologized, I think that was the affirmation that said, yeah, he knew. It's like, you know what you're doing is wrong in the moment, but you still have to do it anyways because of the amount of disrespect you incurred.
Yeah.
And you know you're going to embarrass everybody, but you're not entertaining those consequences at the moment, in that moment.
Yeah.
And so I think he just had enough. He was fed up. He's like, I know what I did was wrong. I apologize to the fans, to the UFC, to my family, to my father, to Dana. But those motherfuckers had it coming.
Yeah. Am I wrong to equate it to, like, you know, like, say you're in high school and, you know, like, a quiet gentleman and keeps to himself, but then, like, one day you hear that he just popped off on somebody, fucked them up, beat their ass, and then, you know, you're like talking to a classmate and you're like, man, what happened? They're like, well, you know, so-and-so beat someone's ass. And then you think to yourself, like, man, someone must have really pissed him off because I know that guy and he usually keeps to himself and he's usually pretty quiet. Am I wrong to, like, equate it to that?
I would say no, you're not wrong, but maybe there's more to the story. Maybe Khabib is that way. Maybe he is, you know, and that could be due to, like, his beliefs and his morals, is that he wants you to hold more honor and respect for the fight game as he does. But I think in that fact, he's missing who Conor is. Conor's honor and respect is different due to his culture. The Irish culture and the Muslim culture are completely different. They're almost polarized opposites. You know, with Conor's background probably being Irish Catholic, he's very open. He's a party guy. He wants to have a good time. He wants to entertain, and he wants to train. And he has that killer instinct as well. But with Khabib, he's more of a docile, honorable, probably more tranquil human until it's time to perform. Yeah. And when it's time to perform, they're both able to click that switch and turn into killers. But everything leading up to the fight, Khabib is tranquil. He's calm. He's under control. Yeah. But meanwhile, there's this furnace that is being ignited.
Yeah, which
due to Conor's words.
Let's point out that, you know, that same guy broke Jose Aldo in their title fight, which I felt and I truly believe led to him being knocked out in 14 seconds because he got caught up in the Conor McGregor madness. Right. You know? So
but more to that point, that as the fight grew near, as the fight climbs to its apex. See what I did right there? Apex Center. As it climbed to its apex, the words had Khabib Nurmagomedov completely inflamed, completely ready to dominate and punish his opponent, which he did. Let's talk now. I want to talk now. Let's talk. He's punishing his opponent, meanwhile embarrassing him in the octagon, and decides, yes, I broke you.
Yeah.
I destroyed you. Now I destroy your team.
Yeah.
Because your team was behind you and they're the ones who are supporting you. Now I go break them, which he shouldn't have done. We all know that's wrong, but it's the culture difference, I think, that has the two at such opposites. But understanding that this is how Conor conducts business. And Aldo, it broke Aldo. It infuriated and focused Khabib.
Yeah.
Could we possibly say because of Khabib's values, maybe that's why he did not break, because he knew he was biding his time to when he got into the octagon and they slammed that steel cage door and locked it. And there was only 3 men in there. It was Herb Dean, Khabib, and Conor. Yeah. And Khabib was like, there's no one going to stop this fight until I destroy Conor McGregor.
Yeah, especially because of all the events that led up to the fight, the Conor ambushing, throwing, dude, if you think about it, it's like, what is your goal here? When you ran in there, what is your goal here? Like, what are you trying to do?
I don't think it was that.
No?
I think it was, I believe.
He's trying to make a promo?
I think Conor, I don't believe Conor knew, or his intent was not to break the window of the bus. I don't believe he thought it would break. I think he thought it would bounce off. Or, maybe he just hit it right. But he shouldn't have thrown at the glass. He should have thrown at the body of the van or the bus.
So Khabib is, and people always say, it doesn't matter how much shit you talk, it's matter what you do in the cage, or in the fight, and so that's kind of where he was coming from. He's like, all right, come on, dude, like you done did all of this shit,
right?
Let's talk now.
But I watched that
while
fight.
He was beating.
I watched that fight, and it wasn't. Khabib didn't dominate as the way everybody makes it out to be. It was a fight for a round. Conor beat him in round 1.
Conor got him in 1 round.
But and Khabib finished him in 2nd. So, Khabib was the first guy to drop Conor, but Conor was the first guy to beat Khabib in a round.
That overhand right caught me by surprise because Khabib's not really known for his stand-up at all. He's known for taking you down, ground and pound.
Smothering you.
And so for him to catch Conor and dropping him like that with that overhand right, it was like, damn. The fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
But
now that Khabib is retired and Conor hopefully he's extinguished his opulence. I hope so, for his fighting sake, and I wonder if that's why he sold all of his rights to the Proper 12 brand, because I think, and he sold after he lost to Poirier in Abu Dhabi. So I'm thinking he knows, he's like, I can't be this wealthy and win. I need to be humbled. I need to remove the distractions, the opulence, the luxury, the good times. And I think that's why he may have sold everything. And so, okay, I have enough money in the bank. I made enough money after that fight between Khabib and Conor was after he made millions from Mayweather. So what was he hungry for? He wasn't hungry. He was comfortable. He thought he was going to go in there. He was going to pull off his Mystic Mac magic and go in there and cerebrally destroy Khabib. And he failed. Yeah. And he knew he failed when he's lying in the cage trying to find breath.
Yeah. That's what I've said, a few episodes back. I was like, all that money and stuff, like the money aspect and them getting paid, like that's great. But what does it do for me as a fight fan? You know what I'm saying? And, it's not about me, but we are the people that, drive these numbers, right? Purchase the pay-per-views.
The fans
all of
don't
that
buy,
stuff.
Nothing happens.
So, if, you're over here just spoiled and all this money, he did earn it. I like to see it, the fight with Mayweather and all that stuff. But, I'm over here, I buy your fight against Khabib. I want to see the best Conor, but I mean, Like what? That's why I'm saying, like, what does that mean to me? And these, these dudes that make like buttloads of money, like Conor does. Like I want to say against Poirier and maybe Khabib, like you pointed out, maybe he just like, what are you fighting for? You lazy? Like are you just like kicking back on your yacht and you're like, oh, I need to go get a fight in, time to, put some money in the bank, dump a load in there. Like, what does it do for me? You know what I mean?
But you don't get any gratification from watching the fight?
For sure, I do.
Okay.
But when we get into dissecting the fight like we are right now and thinking possibly maybe he's, like, what are you fighting for? Like, you're bailing money, bro. That's all I say. Because, I mean, I got a buddy who's like I want to say he's infatuated with Conor McGregor. And he's like, oh, yeah, he's making this and this and this. And I'm like, well, when's the last time he won, bro? And he's like, it doesn't matter. He's making this. And I'm like, what does that do for me as a fight fan? I like to watch competitive UFC fights, which don't get me wrong. I like watching Conor McGregor fight. I'm just saying, what does that money do for me? It don't do shit.
Well, do you think maybe you're interpreting it incorrectly?
Interpreting what exactly?
You're taking the stance that because of Conor's monetary success, you're asking, how does that benefit you? But in essence, you're contributing to his monetary benefit.
No, just when someone, like when I'm arguing the fact that.
Well, then what you should, in that instance, in my opinion, you shouldn't allow that stance to cause you any kind of emotional reaction.
No, just when I'm like, dude, like, I mean, he never defended any of his belts. Okay. He hasn't won in his last 2 fights. Like, the guy needs to start winning, And they're like, oh,
for what reason?
Yeah, and they're like, well, it doesn't matter. He's fucking bathing in money, and I'm like, that's cool.
But I think let's focus on your stance in that
because
instance.
the Mystic Mac, like dude, he beat Dennis Seaver. Who the fuck was Dennis Seaver before he fought him? I never heard of the guy.
Right.
I never heard of him, and that was his ticket punch to fight Jose Aldo. Come on, man. They handed it to him on a pedestal.
But it's because he drives numbers. I'm not talking
exactly.
I'm not talking about his bank account. I'm talking about UFC.
Yeah.
And listen, man, this is a business.
Okay.
I mean, am I right? I know it's the fight business, but it's a business.
But I'm just coming from my perspective as a guy.
You need to then it sounds like you're looking for more purity in the fight game as far as I believe in the
fighters
who are hungry.
I believe in the ranking system. You wait your turn. Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from.
So what I'm telling you is, and we had this conversation about all these fighters who are losing are getting big fights. Yeah, like your boy Nate. Yeah. Nate's gonna get a big fight after this loss to Edwards. Yeah. Why? Well, because that's what Nate wants. Nate does not want a championship.
I would argue that he's one of the only guys that could elevate his stock after a loss.
He did it.
Yes,
twice.
He did. Yes, he did.
He's done it twice. Yeah. And that's my point, is that Nate is not in the business to win a championship. Nate is in the business to make his pockets fat.
I agree. But how long am I going to stand there buying shirt after shirt he's losing?
You identify with Nate. That's why you support him.
True.
As do with Nick. I mean, y'all do look alike. You and Nate, you look like his younger cousin.
Dude, I do a great Nate impression that I'm not gonna do right now. But yeah, my girl's like, dude, she's like, when you do that, you look so much like him.
Yeah, like if you got a ball fade and you have your eyes right now, you look just like Nate. You're just about 5 inches shorter.
Yeah, man, we pulling up to Arizona, getting ready to fight. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. But I think
I see the aspect, Paul. Like I do see the perspective, but
you're just tired of people slurping Conor. I think that's what it is.
No, man. Like I used to not like Conor. I really used to like. I was like, fuck him, dude. And like it was almost like I saw myself with Mayweather, dude. I bought Mayweather pay-per-view after I bought like 3 of them, and I was like, after this, I was like, fuck him, dude. And then I was there watching Mayweather versus Conor.
I did.
But with Conor, like I got a buddy. He is slurping up Conor, but whenever Nate beat him the first time, I called him and I was like, dude, because it was like it was, I forgot who had pulled out of the fight, and they pulled, Nate up. Well, Nate cut that badass promo, after he beat I forgot who after he beat, but I mean, I like good fights. I don't hate on the UFC. I realize what it's become. I don't hate on it, man. I'm just, I like Conor. I like watching him. I'm gonna watch.
Sure.
July 10th. Shit, we might be over here. But
Right.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good card, man. I don't know. I'm just speaking from a fan's perspective.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's
but I'm gonna be there regardless.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But that's why I said, if you want to see hungry fights, and this is the same thing that happens in boxing. This is just my experience. My experience are the fights that don't get a lot of press, who have unknown fighters. Those are going to be the most competitive fights. If you want to see the purity, because those fighters are hungry, they're fighting for something. Watch the undercards. Watch the prelims.
Yeah, they got baby mamas at home. They got houses they want to build. They got kids that crying they need food.
They got bills to pay.
For sure.
It's
Hey,
they're
but it's
literally
crazy
hungry.
because those are the guys that I can identify with.
But you can identify with any of them. It's just how you choose. Like
True. You
You identify with the Diaz brothers, and they're multimillionaires. What's the difference between the Diaz brothers? Okay, what's the difference?
Yeah,
What's the difference between the Diaz brothers and Justin Gaethje? What's the difference? What's the difference?
I feel like Justin Gaethje's gonna flatline you, and the Diaz brothers probably are not.
No. What's the difference in their bank account?
Oh, okay.
Not much. I can't bring Conor in the conversation because he's not there. But what's the difference between Nate Diaz and Cowboy Cerrone? Bigger bank account for Nate. What's the difference between Nate Diaz and Leon Edwards? Nate made more money in that fight than Leon did, and Nate lost.
Did you see what Nate told Leon Edwards after the fight?
Yeah, set your price so those motherfuckers will. Set it for you.
I feel like, with Jorge as well, he elevated Jorge. I feel like he was like, yeah, it's your time, motherfucker. Like, because you get those fights and it elevates you, like a fight with Nate.
You want to know what I really believe? I believe they all learned from Conor. Conor came in and talked all his shit and said, I'm not fighting unless you pay me $10 million.
Well, that's the promo that Nate cut.
He's
learned. Like, you took everything that I worked for, motherfucker.
Hey, that's
because
business.
I feel like Conor took the blueprint from Nate.
But Nate had not set his price. Nate could not name his price until he beat Conor. And when he beat Conor, he's like, all right, I hold the bag now.
I'm not going to lie. That's what fucking elevated him.
I'm going to hold the bag. No doubt.
And they're holding out on that trilogy fight.
Good.
The third one.
Good.
It's going to happen.
Nate better make at least $5 million. I'm dead serious.
Yeah, but the question is, where's Conor gonna be at as far as like
who cares?
Losses and all that.
Who cares? Look, Conor could lose. Conor could lose July 10th, and in January, it's McGregor Diaz 3, and everybody's gonna buy that shit.
True.
It doesn't matter who's losing. It doesn't. All that matters is the storyline and who's gonna sell that shit. And those two will sell it. No doubt about it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it's the WWE now. It's the UFC WWE merge. Look at Colby Covington. Colby's doing his geeky Trump supporter thing to go move tickets because they were going to cut his ass before that.
Marty Juiceman.
Dude. Hey, it's the fucking WWE.
I like Kobe.
It's
you
that
like
model.
Kobe?
I know he'll fuck you up.
Yeah, you do. You like him?
No. I really don't. Listen, he's one of those dudes where it's like, dude, you're fucking annoying now. Like, you need to stop. Like, you're just too much. But it's a character.
Yeah.
It's not him. It's a character. Like, who would like Ferguson? Like, Tony Ferguson is just fucking crazy. He's not a character. Colby Covington is a character. That's just the difference between the two.
Yeah.
And and they're not going to change anything. And listen, man, you can't I can't knock anybody for getting their bag. That's how Colby's going to go get his bag that way. And I bet you, and I'm not this slick, but Joe and I can't believe the other guy who was on that show on Rogan. They're like, Colby's going to go do WWE after this is over. Like after he's made enough money, he's going to go WWE.
Yeah, I've heard Colby Covington is like one of the nicest guys in the UFC.
Listen, he is what is Colby? Colby is that like all-American schoolboy square when he was like in college and high school. He was like, yes, sir, no, sir. And that's great. You know, it's like he's Tim Tebow, but he's the annoying Tim Tebow. He's like, yeah, I did it. It's like, y'all don't like me, but I don't care.
He's good though. He's good.
He will knock your ass out. Yes.
I want to see him. I would like to see. I'm calling it now. I would like to see him versus Nate Diaz or him versus Nate Diaz.
Dude.
I would like to see him versus, because I know the trash talk would be like insane.
Nick ain't gonna do it. Nick is not. He is not a talker.
Okay, so let me ask you real quick. Who do you think Nick would come back for? Like, if you're Dana White, who are you booking Nick for?
GSP.
They've already did that.
So what?
They've already did that.
Tell me that shit won't sell.
I don't want to see it.
Tell me you're full of shit.
I don't want to see that.
You are full of shit.
I don't want to see it.
You are full of shit.
GSP, I don't want to see it.
They do that fight in December, and you are all over it.
I will be, but I don't want to see it. If I had a choice, I don't want to see that.
Okay, well then that's who I picked. Who do you pick?
Masvidal.
No, dude, that's
Nick Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal.
Nick is too big. Nick is a 185er. He does not belong at 170.
All right.
You just want to see that Diaz.
Well,
this is what you want to see. You want to see The Rock up there again, patting his BMF belt while he's holding it.
Yeah, nervous as fuck.
Listen, but this time it's Nick walking first and Nate walking behind him, just giving him the stink eye as they walk by.
He's not going to get a championship fight. Who else?
The BMF ain't no championship fight.
Who else? No, I'm saying he's not going to get a championship fight against Usman, against he's not going to get a championship fight. Who other, like, what makes sense? It's his return fight where Masvidal is on a 2-fight skid. You know, like, who else is there for him? I feel like it's the one that makes sense.
At 70?
Yeah. I feel like it makes sense. Jorge Masvidal.
No. It's like there's just too many people at 70.
I just know he needs to come back. He needs to come back already.
He needs to come back at 185. And that's the Anderson Silva fight, right?
I wouldn't mind seeing him against Robbie Lawler. He fought him back in the day.
What's the difference between that and GSP? What's the difference?
Dude, GSP has phenomenal wrestling. I think GSP gets him again.
Okay, I'm not saying who wins. I'm just saying what's the difference between the two fights?
Yeah, that's what
we want to see. You're saying you want to see a stand-up striker.
You want to see a guy lay and pray on Nick Diaz, or do you want to see like a brawl?
Was it lay and pray with GSP and Nate and Nick the first time?
Yes, he's gonna take him down. He's gonna fucking pound on him. He's gonna pity pat.
How do we know this jiu-jitsu is not improved? How do we not know?
How do we know GSP's wrestling hasn't improved? I mean, can it improve?
Well, he was working towards Olympic trials. I think it's probably pretty fucking good.
Dude, GSP.
But he's old now.
Nick
hasn't fought in 5 years.
Exactly.
But
I don't want to see him fight GSP, dude.
You just don't want to see Nick fight. That's all it is.
Hey, man.
I'm just saying.
Whatever, bro.
So who else so at 70, right? If Whitaker loses against Usman.
No.
I mean
Whitaker is fighting Adesanya.
So who's Usman fighting? Gaethje? What about
Usman? There hasn't been a fight announced for Usman.
But who's next up for?
I mean, fuck. Why not Colby Covington?
Well, I guess they could run that back. Well, what about Nick and Gaethje then? That's a 70.
Not interested.
Oh God, you just want him and Lawler. We want to run this back from 05? Is that what we're trying to do?
Why not?
It doesn't. It's not. Gonna,
No,
Lawler
it's not gonna sell. It's not gonna sell.
Gonna be out there talking like this with porn drug.
It's not gonna sell.
Nick's not gonna talk.
You're not gonna be able to tell the story from way back whenever Nick fucking came and knocked out fucking Lawler.
You know what it is? You want to see that Gladiator intro with Ron Perlman talking. That's what it is. I got it. I get it.
Paul.
You should have never said that earlier. See, there's
I'm looking up here.
I know you don't. Y'all flustered.
Well, dude, like, dude, nothing else makes sense. It's got to be against Jorge Masvidal.
It's only just
when
begun.
when it breaks, I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna be like, I fucking told you, bitch.
I believe you. Hey man, that's what the bitch part over here. Yeah, slow your roll.
Hey, I had to throw a little.
That was a low blow. It went no.
All right. So in the welterweight division, we got Marty Usman, champion. Colby Covington, number 1. So that has to be, you would think, right?
Is that why these two are going at it on Instagram right now?
Probably so. We got. I mean, I would like to see Leon Edwards versus Usman.
Fuck Leon Edwards.
Colby, Gilbert Burns. We've seen it. Stephen Thompson. I think we've seen it.
What about Wonder Boy and Nick?
Okay, I'm down.
Yeah.
ESPN Plus?
No, pay-per-view.
Yeah, Nick is definitely pay-per-view. I'm down.
That's a 5-round co-main.
I'm down.
Now, he has to win on his fight night coming
That's
up.
a tune-up.
Are you sure it's a tune-up?
Yeah, because if he can't get past that, that would be a tune-up.
But Nick's going to need a tune-up also.
I don't know, dude.
Do you think they're waiting for us? What if it's a Stockton card?
Like in California or what?
Well, where's California? I mean, where's Stockton?
Apex.
Why do you always want to do Apex?
Apex Center, right? It's over there in California?
No,
right?
that's in Las Vegas.
Oh, Staples. I'm talking about Staples.
That's in Los Angeles.
Yeah, in California.
But do a Stockton card in Stockton, California.
Okay, name a venue in Stockton.
Yeah, that's good.
Exactly.
Would that call up Nick and Nate to figure that one out?
They're not going to do that.
I bet you there's an arena.
They're not going to do that.
The Sacramento Kings, wherever they play basketball. Yeah. Don't play with me. I know a little bit of basketball.
A little bit. Last time you paid attention to the Sacramento Kings, Vladdy Divac was playing.
Vladdy Divac is the general manager, Jack. He's still out there. Slugging on his I don't know what them cancer sticks are called.
Golden One Center, Sacramento
Golden
Kings.
One.
So how far away from Stockton is that? Since you seem like you know.
It's in Stockton.
It's in Stockton.
Stockton. All you gotta do is click on the.
It says it's located in downtown Sacramento.
Okay, well, I don't know how far that is. Sacramento, Stockton, they both start with an S.
Oh, damn. I thought we were talking about the Stockton Kings.
I said Joe Montana.
Joe Montana's a quarterback, you fucking idiot.
All bug teeth sticking out. Don't play with me, son.
I said Joe Montana.
I said Joe Montana. Water sucks. I'm tired. It's late.
Needle tick.
You're nasty. Man, I feel phone blowing up. It's 10 o'clock. All right, let's get out of here. What are we leaving the people with?
We're leaving the people with
avocado.
I don't know what the fuck that was.
What are you looking at?
Dark Side of the Mic, $20 spots for PS5 raffle. Come on with it.
PS5.
Come on with it.
I might just say, let me just buy it from you.
Fuck no, dude.
Well, you'll make $500 off of what you've already made.
Hey, don't speak about my finances online.
I didn't say what you made. I just said what you've already made.
The answer is no.
Inquiring minds want to know, how did Paul win that PS5?
Dude. I fucking put your ticket back. You haven't even purchased a ticket.
Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I got till Wednesday. That's the deadline, right?
You can buy multiple. Just letting you know. Yeah, the deadline is Wednesday. We are doing the drawing next week.
Yeah, I need 4 tickets. Need $70 package.
Yeah, someone's gonna win a PS5, dude, for $20 or $40 or
me.
whatever, and I'm gonna be jealous too because I want a fucking PS5.
We'll go buy one.
I think I am.
Good.
I already acquired one. Trust me. It's not that hard.
Maybe we should give one away here. No?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have fun because I actually do collect those Funko Pops. So
I know.
I'm very keen on, like, if something is coming out or something is limited, you let me fucking know, and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it, dude.
You're on the trail.
I'm on the fucking, yeah. I'll wake up. I'll be there, coal in my eyes, still refreshing shit. I'm on.
What do you call it? Coal?
Yeah, based on Biggie. Wipe the coal out my eye. See who's this calling me.
You know damn well growing up that's not what we called it.
Okay, eye boogers.
That's not what we called it either.
What did you call it?
I can't remember.
This motherfucker. Really? You're gonna criticize what I call it, and then when I ask you,
that is not criticism. Boy, you sensitive. What are you sensitive for?
I'm not sensitive.
You being sensitive.
I might just be hanging around sensitive people.
Maybe.
It might be rubbing off, man.
You may need to get away a little bit.
I need to take a break.
Toughen you up a little bit. Take you back outside.
Oh, damn.
Wood shit, son. I don't know. Go get y'all a PS5. You can win it off of Dark Side. And then, I don't know. We need to figure out something.
Well, we're taking next week off, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But we still got stuff to do.
Yeah, of course. So we're going to reset, right?
Yes. There's going to be a comeback, refreshed, and hopefully we'll have some new things up and running for. Is that you clicking?
Yeah.
We'll have some new things up and running. I just didn't know what it was. We'll have some new things up and running as for the websites. Probably the debut of the Paul Rodriguez Show website. I'm looking forward to that.
Merch.
And merch is coming. I know you're pushing that pretty hard. I just don't know what product we would start with. It's not gonna be hats. People don't buy hats. I don't know. What do people buy?
Let me tell you.
Those tumblers. You like those tumblers?
Yeah.
We'll wait and see. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all watching. We'll be back tomorrow. 55 minutes after the second hour. We just turned it into a 2-hour show.
What's up?
I don't know. You tell me. All right, guys.
Yeah.
What?
Right. I'm going to make some clips of us. Fucking UFC. I'm going to get our UFC fans in this mother.
In this mother. You over here hype already. Turn the moose loose over here, jumping MFers and Bs.
Hey, I censored it. I said in this mother.
No, I'm talking about during the exchanges. You weren't censoring. I was like, man, this boy right here really good. I want to stop this show.
Take that, YouTube. Take that.
Take that. All right, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll see y'all then. Until then, adios.